Have you ever dreamed of building your own sports car? Maybe something inspired by a Ferrari F40, a Saleen S7, or perhaps a classic like the Shelby Cobra. If your answer is yes, stick around, because today we're taking a look at the story of an American man who set out to do just that, build his own race car. This is the story of the MacMinn Le Mans Coupe. This video is inspired by 3 articles about the MacMinn, 2 from Undiscovered Classics and another from Auto Evolution. You'll find the links in the Google Doc linked in the description. I highly recommend checking them out if you'd like to learn more. Now, let's jump right into the video. In late 1957, Road and Track magazine dropped a challenge that could only be described as peak gearhead ambition. The idea? Build an American car that could dominate the legendary 24 hours of Le Mans. Think of it as the ultimate DIY project for anyone with a garage, a welder, and a dream. John Bond, the magazine's publisher, led the charge. He handled the engineering side while calling on his good friend Strother MacMinn, a highly skilled designer and instructor at the renowned Art Center in Los Angeles, to create the bodywork. MacMinn's design was a sleek and forward-thinking creation that seemed to belong to a future yet to come. In an era when most cars prioritize style over function, his aerodynamic approach broke away from the trends. Here's the thing though, Bond and MacMinn didn't actually build the car themselves. The challenge was a call to action for American teams to take their design and make it a reality. And they weren't just dreaming about a race car. MacMinn even expanded his designs to include street-friendly versions. His 1959 book, Sports Cars of the Future, showcased these concepts. Of the teams that stepped up to the challenge, 2 stand out. First, there was Alton Johnson, a craftsman with an eye for detail who teamed up with colleagues to bring the design to life. Then there was Edward Tift, who worked out of a humble backyard shop in California. Between these teams, 7 fiberglass bodies were produced and 3 cars were fully built. Each of the 3 finished cars had its own unique setup, which just adds to the appeal of these builds. All 3 shared a super-thin fiberglass body mounted on a steel frame and were powered by a stock Chevrolet 283 V8 under the hood. However, beyond those shared basics, each car had its own personality. One of the trio, for example, featured a Chevy gearbox, Ford steering, front suspension and brakes, Lincoln rear brakes, and Monroe shocks. Each one was a unique take on MacMinn's vision, proving that genius comes in many forms, and sometimes with a Chevy V8 under the hood. The finished cars turned heads. Robert Cumberford, an influential designer and journalist, called the Le Mans Coupe the most exciting sports car design constructed in the United States in years. And he wasn't wrong. The car's flowing lines and aerodynamic form were revolutionary. But here's the plot twist. None of these cars ever raced at Le Mans. Instead, they faded into obscurity, some literally abandoned in fields. Fast forward to 2021, when Dennis Kazmarowski, a former racer and hardcore car enthusiast, unearthed one of the original fiberglass bodies. Left to rot for over 6 decades, it was practically a fossil, but Dennis saw the potential and embarked on a mission to restore the car to its former glory. 2 years and countless hours later, Dennis unveiled his completed masterpiece. Modern components made it drivable, but he stayed true to MacMinn's original design wherever possible, and the world took notice. In 2022, the car made its mid-restoration debut at the Eyes on Design event in Detroit. A year later, it took first place in the Most Elegant Sports Car category at Pebble Beach. To fully appreciate the Le Mans Coupe, you have to compare it to its contemporaries. For instance, the 1957 Corvette had a wheelbase of 102 inches, the Le Mans Coupe a compact 90 inches, making it more nimble and aggressive. It also stood just 39.5 inches tall, over 8 inches lower than the Corvette. And let's not forget those gull-wing doors, a nod to the iconic Mercedes 300 SL. MacMinn wasn't interested in blending in, he was setting a new standard. The car's unique features didn't stop there. The original design placed the headlights in recessed tunnels with transparent covers for maximum aerodynamics. The restored version opted for a more modern look, but the spirit of innovation remained. It's clear MacMinn was inspired by European elegance, particularly the 1937 Talbot Lago T150C22 by Fagoni and Falaschi. And yet this car was unmistakably American, a no-frills rebellion against the chrome-laden excess of the era. So why does this car matter? Because it's a reminder of what's possible when ambition meets creativity. The Le Mans Coupe was more than a car. It was an idea brought to life, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. A true example of American engineering and innovation. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe and click on the recommended video that appears on the screen. It's all about the Dodge Charger Daytona. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.